Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you are viewing this webinar. Today, we are doing our Medicare Quoting Tool Client Manager webinar, just help understand and how to use that Client Manager. So once you've logged in to your Medicare Quoting Tool, on that dashboard, on the far right, there is Client Managers. This is the go-to place to save all of your clients, whether you're running them a quote or even have already written them a policy and you want to just keep track of the policy that you've written them and or follow up with them next year when you're doing a prescription drug plan or Medicare Advantage plan, because with our quoting tool, we actually do have the ability to save prescription drugs in there so you don't have to continuously input those. So if you have not had a client in here yet, you would just go up to the Add New Client. This is where you would then put in a client's name. So for today's purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and put my name in here. And then you can add pretty much as much detail as you want to this. You can have their middle name if they're a senior, junior, or the second. And then you can select their gender and their tobacco usage. This will save for when you do run a quote under the client, it will automatically populate for that or for you. And for the purpose of this video, I'm going to act like I am 65. So I'll go ahead and put in today's date as my date of birth, born in 1956. You can put in the social security number. Don't necessarily have to if you don't want to. It doesn't really, you don't really use that later on when you're running a quote. Then you can put in their phone number, email address, and again, it's basically like a CRM system. This will save your client information. So if you ever need to look up a client's email in the future, this will be extremely helpful. I know I never can remember clients' emails, so that's a good way to add that. Same with the address. Again, it's not necessarily anything too important to the quote other than the zip code, but if you ever needed to mail them something in the future, this is a great way to help save those for future reference. And like I mentioned, so the zip code is probably going to be the most important one here. This does save and auto-populate when you run a quote. So for this purpose, I'm going to just do a Omaha zip code here, and you can save your client. Once you've saved your client, it does allow you to click New Quote up here to run a quote directly from this link, or you can actually do Show Current Products. So I'll start by running a quick quote here. So we'll do New Quote. It will ask you whether you want to do Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, or Dental and Vision. For the first one, I'll do a Medicare Supplement. As you can see, it auto-populates the client's name, zip code, age, gender, tobacco status, and then from here, you can kind of filter what type of plan you want to run. Go into details about running specific quotes in another video today. Like I mentioned, we're just focusing on Client Manager. So I'll just do a real quick quote here for a April 1st effective date with household discount. And the reason why I'm running this quote is because it does save your quotes. So if you ever run a quote, let's say now for their initial enrollment, but then 3 years from now, they decided they want to try to find a cheaper option, you can rerun the quote and see what you ran before and what it will be in the future. So now that I've ran a quote, I'll go back to the dashboard here and go back to Client Manager, where you can then now find the quote. Another quick, easy way to get to Client Manager instead of going all the way to the right is going over here along the left-hand side and click Client Manager. This is, again, where you'll see all of your clients that you've saved and created. I have a couple different test ones in here. I believe the one that's lowercase is the one we're doing today. So I'll go ahead and click on that. Again, you see all your client information, but then down below under quote history, you're going to see all the quotes you've ran for that member. Right now, the unfortunate part is when you click New Quote, it is using the old Medicare Advantage and prescription drug quote link. So if you're needing to do one where you're wanting to save the prescriptions and input those prescriptions, the best way to do it is going back to that dashboard, clicking the Medicare Advantage PDP with the beta version, because that's the one that actually allows you to save your prescriptions. But the first thing you need to do is select the client you're wanting that to go to. If you do not select the client, It will not save the prescriptions for future reference. So we'll just do a real quick Part D quote, and I'll show you how it saves that. I always filter it to annual drug and premium costs, just because that's probably the best way to look at prescription drugs. Yes, you want to see the drug cost, and I always leave it as both for retail and mail order. And you can click add prescriptions. We'll do keep open, so it's a little bit easier. And we'll just do a couple real basic ones like lisinopril. Again, we'll just do real basic, add drug, and we'll do a atorvastatin. Real basic, add those. And now that I've added the two that I want to go to, we'll add a pharmacy. This pharmacy does do a search radius of 10 miles. If you want it to be a little bit more specific, you can do just typing in the name like Walgreens, or let's do CVS. And then you can just add pharmacies, go down to get quote. It does take a little bit to run because it is pulling all the drugs and all the pharmacies for every single carrier. So it does take a little bit to load over here. But as you can see, it does have all the carriers pulled up. Obviously, we did a very basic one, so that SilverScript SmartRx is probably going to be the best for this client. But now that we've ran the quote, again, if you go back to that dashboard or just click Client Manager on the left-hand side, and because I selected the client I want it to go to, it then saves those prescriptions and should save the quote. I didn't go further into the quote, so it's not actually popping up, but just to show you how it does save that, we'll go back to the dashboard, hit Medicare Advantage in the beta version, select the client again, and it should have those prescriptions all right down here with the pharmacies that we selected. So again, the Client Manager is just a really great tool to manage your clients and to manage the quotes that you've ran on those clients. One additional thing that I think is really great, and I think it will help when running some sort of reports, maybe specifically for prescription drug plans. Once you have a client selected, you can actually click on Show Current Products. The Show Current Products allows you to input a specific plan that the individual is on. So this helps keep track of your client's plans, the type of plan they're on. For example, Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage. There isn't an option for Part D, but I usually just put that under Medicare Advantage since it's all under that same quoting section. And you could just do PDP. Let's do SilverScript. And then we'll do the $7.30 premium, just so you know in the future. And you can even put SmartRx if you wanted to. But you go ahead and save those. And once you've saved it and you close out, we'll even go back to the Client Manager and re-pull that individual up, show current products. Right there is the PDP SilverScript SmartRx that person was enrolled in. You can run filters and find your clients a little bit better based off that filter. So you can click on this add filter, and it allows you to search by zip, state, gender, tobacco usage, the Medicare supplement plan they're on, or the Medicare carrier that they're with, for example. So you can run the filter that way. Once you have several clients in there under search results, it might be easier to just type by the name. Obviously for this purpose, it doesn't really matter since I only have 4 in there, but I'll start typing it in test, and it will eliminate the other ones and pull up the previous test there. But yeah, so it should save all your quotes under quote history. Again, if you're doing the prescription drug plan or Medicare Advantage, it might not show up down here, but when you go in to run the actual quote, it will show up when you select that client. So again, I'll just select the one I just did, and there's those prescriptions like I entered in before with those pharmacies. This tool I do think will be very, very helpful. Again, today we're just doing a real quick Client Manager tutorial because that is the very basis of all of this. As long as you put in a client, this tool will be extremely helpful, keeping track of all of your quotes, your prescriptions for the members, and or plans you enroll them in. Hopefully this was helpful for everybody. If you have any questions, obviously don't hesitate to call the 402-330-8700 and ask for anybody in the Medicare department. Myself, Jessica Fletcher, or Kevin Lindmeyer will be more than happy to help you walk you through these quotes and or client view. Thank you.